but it's always a vibration inside of a vibration when I'm doing music.
That's our sister Erica Badu in conversation with our next
Yes.
guest. And I wanted, Tracy G, I wanted to see if you could do the honors in introducing her to our presence.
Absolutely. I mean, let me start by this. I think a lot of you citizens, like, I truly believe that everyone's soul has agreed to arrive in these bodies on a mission, right? For personal evolution, potentially the evolution of the collective. And this queen who we have as a guest during Women's History Month, the first time that I was introduced to her work some years ago, I knew that her type of soul was not new to this. She was not like an infant soul trying to figure out this human experience for the first time, and I could further tell because she is a nationally renowned herbalist. She is a chief priestess of purification, okay? A Kemetic, aka Egyptian priestess, a yoga teacher, a master healer, an herbalist, just so many etc. A lay midwife. She's a founder and spiritual guide of Global Sacred Woman Village. She's the author of countless books, including the 20th anniversary edition of Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit. She has a sacred daughter who's also my sacred sister, Layla Delia, and Layla has called her the modern day Harriet Tubman. And I believe it's because of the thousands of people that she guides in their journey back to wholeness. We heard her with Erica Badu, that's been one of her clients, Lauren London, Jada Pinkett Smith, Stevie Wonder. She is the pioneer of this wellness and spirituality explosion that we've seen recently. And I'm talking about way before it was Instagram friendly. She's been about this, okay?
About it.
So with a deep bow, we welcome Queen Afua to Sway in the Morning.
Queen Afua, yes.
Oh, thank you so much. With your words. Thank you so much. I'm totally grateful for being here. Thank you.
Absolutely. This is Sway, and I want to thank you for your wellness teachings, the healing over generations in my family. You're a mainstay in my family walls. My auntie Celia gifted me this book after for a number of reasons. First of all, she wanted me to have a better understanding of women in general. And when my daughter was born, she really felt like you need this Bible. So, because what you got ahead of you, you don't have all the tools yet to fully understand. And you also need to do some healing yourself. And so your works have been in the conversation in my home, in my family for years. My sister, NZO Khalifa, you guys actually done things in Northern California in the Bay together. I won't go too deep into that, but I want to say welcome to this show, Sway in the Morning. We honor your presence, Queen Mother Afua, and let's celebrate. Let's celebrate this 20th anniversary. Come on, let's celebrate it.
Absolutely. Well, I was telling my granddaughter last night, I said, Sway is like our cousin, our uncle, our big brother, and his tone alone is such soothing and so healing to the spirit. So I'm just so honored to be here with you, with Tracy G and Heather B. I'm in such a state of gratitude. I don't have words. There's a celebration time. This is the time the Sacred Woman has survived. Sacred Woman has survived, has endured, has come up, has come through. And she is the African woman through the diaspora that this book was written for. And that she would be the one to rise again and heal her family, her community, and this planet. This pandemic, I see how it's unfolding. And as I speak to the sacred women who are on the path, holistic women, natural women on the path, they're having such major success stories on this shift on the planet. They are in greater health, in greater vitality. The families are hearing them in a way that they've never heard them before, the natural way, which is African natural lifestyle. And we call New Age, it's not New Age. It's as old as antiquity, as old as the mountains, as old as the air, as old as the ocean. And this is all our culture. When I think about herbs when I did all my research for Sacred Woman, herbs, that's African natural lifestyle. Yoga, meditation, that's African natural lifestyle. Reiki, that's African natural lifestyle between eyes and every head. Astrology, color therapy, aromatherapy, all of these are all African natural lifestyle techniques that was in the beginning of time, first civilization, and we need it more now than ever. And African natural lifestyle, the others have it, and it's $1 trillion business. Then why are we the sickest people if this is our right and this is our cultural legacy? And so that's why I teach no matter what. And I teach every day. It's been 50 years, every day, talking about wellness, talking about healing. So I'm grateful. Yeah.
I follow you on. First of all, thank you. Every time you speak, we probably give you an applause. So please never mind us. We're just happy you're here. And I can't wait to see you in person and your son, Supernova Slum. I love what he's doing, and I love that you guys work in tandem. And, even following you on Instagram, I hear your words, and you were speaking, we're here to celebrate this book, but you were speaking to us men, too, about this time. You said this is the time, and I'm paraphrasing, of the woman. This month we're celebrating women. We're seeing a whole movement happen on a global basis, and you're saying to men, don't be intimidated by this. This is, the woman is who's going to raise the nation. Okay, can you speak to that?
Yeah, we are the women. We are the healers. First of all, Man Heal Thyself. That book will be out in 7 days. Wellness Warriors, and that's a rites of passage. Myself and my son co-authored it. So we have for the men, because we have to think about our men and our women that we could all heal. We have to heal now. This is our time. So, but in terms of the women, it is her natural way of a healer. And I received this in these 20 years when I read in The Person Who, the first written text of spirituality, which is our culture. And it says who we are as women. And that confirmed for me what I already knew. And that is this affirmation: we are the women. It opens up the new book, the anniversary copy. We are the women who lighten the darkness. We have come to lighten the darkness. It is lightened. We have overcome the destroyers. We are there for those who weep, who hide their faces, who sunk down. They looked upon us then. We are the women. We are the healers. We are the women. We are the healers. We are the women. We are the healers. And according to my daughter-in-law, Layla, she said, and the game changes once we get that. That means we don't have to rely on anybody outside of our home to heal us. We can heal ourselves, and we can go to nature to heal us. I'm not healing anyone, but nature is healing all of us. I'm just tapped into nature, as we all are, but we just don't know the tools. Once you learn the tools of nature, air, fire, water, earth, and how that relates to your well-being, and how that was part of our technique for healing ourselves at the beginning, then you have resolved all your issues, from diabetes to high blood pressure to prostate cancer. The women are working. The women are healing their families now, the ones that I'm with and teaching and guiding, and they're not angry at their people. They're not angry at their men. They're not angry at their children. They know the children, the families, the husbands, the elders need healing, and they have the medicine. They have the holistic medicine, and that's what time it is for that empowerment. So it's a movement, and part of that movement is in the book. It says womb wellness. They call me the mother of womb wellness, and I would co-sign Dr. Drew Pulcrum also, and we acknowledge her in the book as one of the elders of womb wellness. She works with brain balancing, and they are finding that the brain is connected to the uterus. But I also, and so what you're thinking is what you are creating, whether fibroid tumors or cysts or heavy bleeding and clotting or attracting toxic waste into your womb. We got all this healing to do, but I always want to add in this the heart. And if you heal the heart, then you also heal the womb. We have a lot of emotional issues that we're carrying from generation to generation to generation. We never healed from 400 years of chattel slavery. They stole us. And when they're stealing us, they stole our culture, our language, our traditions, our ways, our medicine. But it's still in us. They say our way is dead. They say our way is no more. And that the ancient healing Nile Valley legacy in thousands of years ago, but we are here, and we do remember. It is lodged in our DNA, tapped down deep in our melanin. So we traveled deep within, and we fasted and we prayed. And then one day, right now, one by one, then two by two, then thousands began and millions began to wake up to our way. The ancient Nile Valley healing legacy of balance, of ma'at, of wellness, of healing. And we women, we melanin women, we are bringing it. We are coming. And I know, because 5 years ago, I started seeing a shift. Those who were seeing me all before that, when the book came out in 2000, they were looking for personal healing and still are. But now I'm seeing women come because they want to become healers, because they really are. And they're starting to wake up to that. And so I see the Reiki masters coming. I see the doulas coming for this training, the rites of passage. I see the chefs, the vegan chefs, and the yoga teachers, and all of that, because they know that it's our time. And each of these are different forms of medicine, African holistic medicine, that we can unearth and we can heal all the issues. Why would it come now during the pandemic? Because we are needed now. When the bottom fell out, there had to be a new bottom to get to the top, and that's us. That's these African women, these melanin women.
I love it. Queen Afua, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to follow her on her social, too, at Queen Afua, AFUA. Tracy, you want to jump in? Heather, you want to jump in?
I would love to.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Thanks, HB. Queen, when it comes to altar work and the spiritual side of healing, and we know, especially here in the
Say
States.
that again. When it comes to
altar work.
Okay. Altar.
Going into the spiritual side of healing, and I'm thinking about how a lot of Black people, especially in the States, are Christians and may feel a bit of a calling, but then feel like it's compromising to their Christianity. May not understand, having a picture of a spiritual guardian, an ancestor, a contemporary, and may feel like it's praying to false idols. What would you say to that person?
Your grandmother, your grandfather who has made their transition, are they false idols worshiping? Because you say thank you. That's what you're doing. When you put I just put my father to another altar. My father was an entrepreneur back in the 1940s, and he got 4 brownstones from his entrepreneur. He had his own business. He was a digital technician, and he taught me. He taught me about Marcus Garvey and working with your people to help to resurrect. So my father, I will keep him there to remind me, and I call out them and say, "Thank you, Daddy. Thank you in the flesh, and thank you in the spirit." So is that idol worshiping? Is that false God? That is saying gratitude, because you was on someone else's show. You didn't just show up. Someone else grew you, nurtured you, spoke to you, spoke life into you. That is to go on your altar. See, this is to help disempower us. That's how come we're so sick. That's when we have the highest incidence of diabetes and high blood pressure, fibroid tumors and stress and suicide, all of that, because we don't have our culture. That was ripped from us, and they're going to keep teaching us that anything that we do that is our way, that is wrong. But meanwhile, when you say, I won't say the name, but it's a circle, and it's one of the largest corporate machines, used stores around the world, and it's a circle in the middle. That is a symbol of Ra. That's a symbol of sun, and everybody goes there to shop for everything. They give trillions and trillions of dollars over our culture, and so that is the circle represents unity. Now, on an altar, what does the altar mean? The altar is you. We are walking altars. We are temples. We are shrines. We are the church. That is what I say to the sacred women. I am that I am, a shining being. Our ancestors gave that to us, that we are beings of light, because we could walk as an altar or a temple or a shrine or a sanctuary. So what you put as an altar is really yourself. You're putting before yourself who you are, what you need, what to lift you up. On your altar could be a candle. The candle represents that you're creating light. I am that I am, a shining being. I'm dwelling in light. Sun is the altar on our souls. So when you put a candle, it's a symbol of the light that you can find your way through. They would say, the old people would say, I'm going to put a light at the window so you can find your way through. That's spiritual. So that's what the candle is. You may take sage or frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh is in the Bible to wash away some of the toxicity from your spirit, from your woundedness, from your brokenness, from our broken families. We're going to cleanse and purify all the demons and the demonic spirits off of us from negative thinking or negative attitudes. That is sacred. That is most divine. If you're going to put on your altar a crystal or a stone, it's energy. So your greatness or your beauty or your peace or your wellness, I might put on a rose quartz on the altar, on the sacred space, just to magnify my heart and forgiveness of our relationships. We need that to heal us from with our mothers and fathers. So many mothers and daughters are broken. So many fathers and daughters are broken. Our sons and fathers, all of this, we can heal. The altar is a centerpiece to remind you of the God in you, as Mary says, as the Most High that is dwelling within you. See, Sacred Women is about unification. It is not about division, because that's really Lynch on every level. They want to keep us separate on every level. But it's our time to unify. The unity is the power and it is the strength. Supernova says that unity is for the strong and separation is for the weak. Mm-hmm. It takes work to stay with your people. It takes work to go overcome these issues. And on our altar, we say to the sacred women, we say to women, we say sacred women, Rasta women, sacred women, Christian women, sacred women, Yoruba women, sacred women, Nubian women, sacred women, Buddhist women. We bring the women together. That is what's so unique about sacred. It's not a one spiritual house here. We're fragmented. It's like the 14 pieces of a saw cut up in pieces. It is for the women. As is her name. She's the great mother. She has her throne, and she is, and it's coming from her pineal gland. It's that you got to bring that right and left brain, got to activate. And that altar helps you to focus in so you can focus to your wellness. Otherwise, you get distracted. This disease, the issues in the community, everything distracts you from coming to your highest frequency. That's when you bust through everything. When you can reach that higher frequency, and on your way up, you're going to have stuff. You're going to have crabs in the barrel. You're going to have naysayers. You're going to have non-believers. You have people say, no, it's not your culture. That's not the way. You got to keep going. That's why the cleansing, liberation to purification. Because if you clean up your words, your thoughts, your lifestyle, come up that flesh, that dead, all those dead things that we put in our body, called it food, but it's demonic and it's poison, and it's causing all the issues that we have. And it's not a secret. We got to clean up. And we clean up, we unify. When we clean up, we're not afraid of having an altar, because we are a living altar. I put on my body amethyst. I have a pendulum so I can do energy reading. I put the colors on. That's the altar. I'm a walking altar. Like we're a walking shrine, church, sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Man, Sacred Woman, a guide to healing the feminine body, mind, and spirit. Queen Afua is with us. Oh, wow. Heather, you want to jump in?
Well, wow. There's no topping that, Queen Afua. I just want to say thank you for your words. Thank you for your non-judgment. As Sway said, I'm Heather B. It's so nice to hear your voice and you be a part of the show this morning. And what I'm so thankful for too, just watching you over the years, I was introduced to you through Lauren London, through Instagram, and finding out who you were there. And what I loved about it is that you have allowed us as women to find our own healing space and allow us to heal how we heal and help heal others too, without judgment. Like if it's your way initially to start out this way, but allow yourself room to grow and allow yourself room for healing. I heal in my own way to help people, and everybody has their way, but as long as the intention is there and right, there's always so much room to grow and help heal, and you never show judgment with that. If anything, you've been encouraging with people finding their own way to help heal and do their work. So I just personally wanted to thank you for that.
I'm amazed that you actually can even see it.
Listen, but it's what, you know what, because it's to what you said, my own healing, and as I continue to heal, my prayer life and my life and faith and being in touch with my ancestors has allowed my eyes to open in a way that sometimes it'll just blow your mind. So you see things that, and my body shakes. You see things that you don't even, it's been there the whole time, but you just ignored it for your own comfort. You ignore it for your own comfort. So thank you. Thank you for letting us be uncomfortable when we needed to be. So thank you.
Remember that song back in the day? I just want to thank you for letting me be myself.
Of
Slide
course,
the Family
thank you.
Stone.
Slide the
That
Family
was one of my
Stone, yes.
favorites.
Hey.
Hey.
I
That's
love
a
it.
Yes, so
celebration.
thank you.
We're
Yes, it is.
so
Thank you, Queen.
multifaceted. I just embrace
Yes.
the beauty of us in all the different dimensions. And the
Yes.
spirit's going to, my thing is impeccable listening. That's what Most High is talking to each one of us. And we listen, some halfway, and we get a half message. When we start listening all into the fullness of Most High, guide me and protect me, then everything is good. I embrace all my children. I embrace all my mothers. I embrace all my grandfather's spirits. I embrace the brothers, the sisters, the least of us, the best of us. I embrace all of that because we are phenomenal. How do we survive 400 years and be in our right mind at all? How do we survive what has happened to chattel slavery? That alone will wipe out a whole people. And still now, Willie Lynch is still there, and still now we still in prison, in the prison system, free labor on our spirits. So we are phenomenal. I fell in love, rose in love with my people, and I went to Ghana 25 years ago, and I went to the slave captives. I went to live. I didn't go to visit. So I was by myself. But I went in, and I said, whoa, what a mighty people we are. My soul cried. I said, what a mighty people that we are, that we have survived all of this. Can you imagine 3 months, 4 months in a spot, and you having a baby in the dark, and everybody, fecal and waste is coming out, and people throwing up and nauseous and starving to death, and you have a baby. They showed us a birthing space inside the slave castle. I said, Most High, how much do I love us? So when I was there, I started to love my village that I went through this with, my grandmother, father, grandmother, back. And so my love for us is so deep. You can't even stop me from loving you. You can curse me out, and I'm going to still love you because I know the pain. I recognize the pain, and I will run a bath for you while you're cursing me out. I will give you a cup of tea, and I'll say it's okay. And you'll fall out and you'll cry, and I'll hug you and say it's okay. Because this is the only way that you can let go of that suffering and pain. I'm going to bear witness for you. I'm going to stand in the gap for you, and I'm not letting up. I'm grateful for my mother and father because they stood for me. They walked with me. They held me. They invested in me so much so that I can invest in others. So anytime someone gets something good in their life and their healing coming the way that it comes to them, I'm celebrating their life. I'm so grateful because they are me, and I'm there. We're one. That's it.
I love it. Queen Afua is here, and I'm going to keep saying the book. The book helped me in so many ways. A guide to healing a sacred woman, a guide to healing the feminine body, mind, and spirit. And people might say, well, Sway, that sounds ironic. It says sacred woman. But that it's perfect for everyone. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It gave me a lot of understanding, a lot of the rituals, a lot of the prayers. Even when I'm purifying my homes, I follow some of the directions from the book. You know, you have a chapter where you talk about eating, you know, and we talk about sacred food, gateway, sacred food, and it's so much information in that I think it help people in their everyday way of life, and I wanted to really ask you about that too. What are if you could share with us some of the everyday foods we could take advantage of that would benefit our health and wellness? Because you talked about not putting dead meat in your body. That's like making your body into a coffin, and what everything that carries from worms to GMOs to whatever else that they put in those animals they put in your body. But what are some of the everyday foods you would recommend to folks?
Well, I was just able not to be frightened of coming into wellness, and you can start wherever you are. Someone starts by just letting go of the dead things, of the heavy meat, the beef, the pork, the goat, the lamb, or cut back, and then move into chicken and fish, organic, and then bring in the vegan, plant-based proteins, the beans. You start bringing that into your kitchen. The lentils, the avocados. I have 2 avocados a day, every day, and that helps to regulate the colon. They're talking about our gut works and gut constipation. I was a colon therapist for 15 years, so I've really understood that death in life can begin in the colon. The average person is carrying 5-10 pounds of waste in their colon with parasites because we're eating substance that is not food. And when we put it in the body, it doesn't fully process, so it sits in the body, and then it starts to saturate back into the bloodstream and comes out through the skin or through the emotions or through the eczema or through the respiratory system, and then we start having these different toxic reactions. So you can take something so simple like avocados twice a day in your salad, which will regulate your colon. And so instead of having, if you have 3 meals a day, you have 3 eliminations every day. Because if you have 1 elimination a day and you have 3 meals a day, you're going to feel weighted, you're going to have mood issues, you're going to have prostate impotency, you're going to have low back pain, so you've got to regulate the colon. Cancer of the colon is the 2nd highest form of cancer in the United States because we're eating junk food and processed food. It's not real food. We're eating plastic and we're eating substances that are blocking our greatness. Something else is okra. Okra helps to lubricate the joints, but also lubricates the colon, the prostate, the uterus, so that your body will be able to flush out those tumors, the cysts, the congestion in the womb. Taking limes, having a bowl of limes in the kitchen and taking 2 of those a day and put that in warm water will help to get your respiratory back. I used to be a chronic asthmatic, so I know about not being able to breathe. And it was through, I was on medication, I was on injection, I had the inhaler, I did all of that as a teenager. When I realized that things like garlic and lemons and limes inside of vinegar and more warm and room temperature water and greens, and that's the lifestyle that you want to move towards, the asthma left. I did 2 21-day cycles of living this lifestyle, and that the asthma left, the eczema left out of my body, the arthritis, the chronic TMS, the heavy bleeding 7 to 8 days every month. I was hemorrhaging. All of that left out, and the constipation. My colon became regulated. So and I remember it started in the spring and the summer for me. This is a wonderful, powerful time. Women's History Month, the rite of spring is here, the spring equinox. So do that level of detoxing. So get in your kitchen, set up your kitchen as a serious place in the home. It's a centerpiece, and it's a nutrition kitchen lab. I want you to bless it and charge it up. Laura Lundy came 2 weeks ago with her sister friend to come in our healing ashram, and she said, Queen, what is that over there? I have my herbs set up, and I have them with labels, and then I had the protein set up, the beans, the lentils set up, and then she said, I said, I'm getting a whole new kitchen. I need that. I said, I'll hook it up for you. That's the beginning of set up your nutrition kitchen. And inside of that, I would say have 2 salads every day. That's the roughage, and it's called sun food. Have a fruit bowl every day. Have a green juice will pump up your immune system so you will feel supernatural and that you'll be able to break the bondage of disease. It will empower and build up tissues and cells. But you can also look, I have my books and I lay it out. So if you say, well, I have kidney issues, then add cucumbers to your juice. I have arthritis, so then add a half of a turnip to repair those bones and joints. Maybe you don't need that hip replacement. Say you have respiratory, so add a whole scallion in. So you have diabetes, you're going to take a cup with 1 or 2 other juices to act as a natural. And I'm going to do a disclaimer. If you're seeing a physician, continue seeing a physician. But after 2 months, after 21 days, after 42 days, after a seasonal cleanser, go see your physician every other month. And they're going to say, wait a minute, something's going on with you. You seem to be getting better. And they're going to say, let's cut back. Let's cut it out. Maybe you don't need that surgery. And I'm not going to say it. But they'll say it, and you'll feel it, and you'll know it, and it will come up in disease. So just simple eating, and call it, we're sun people, we're melanin people. All you have to eat is what the Most High put in for you to eat, which is sun food. So don't kill your food with the fire. The only fire that you should really should be is the fire from the sun, that the plants come up. And the green is the foundation for the healing. I myself am a chlorophyllion, and I became a chlorophyllion through Supernova Slum. When I sent him out of Brooklyn, New York, I sent him, the typical, get him off the street before it gets taken off out of his life, and I sent him down south. And he heard everything I ever taught him, because he was born as the vegan just came about 10, 15 years ago, but it was vegetarian. It was lacto, overdue, having eggs and milk, or it was vegetarian, using vegetables and fruits, simple, whole grain. And so that vegan is really, really vegetarian. So anyway, that was what he was raised in. So when he went away, he remembered everything. Because, sometimes you unplanted all the seeds and told your children everything, and then you have to go and have life. And then life had to teach them. And so life had to teach him something without me talking to him every single day about what he should do or what he should not do and how he killed himself, how he's not. All of that And he went away, and he came back. He came back with this gallon of green. And inside that gallon of green, he had all kinds of green juices and green supplements and all of that. And I said, well, what's this all about? He said, well, I'm a chlorophyll. I said, what's a chlorophyll? He said there's someone who has 90% of chlorophyll foods, green foods. And then they have some nuts and some seasons, all of that. And what ended up happening, I became so green conscious. And that is like a SAR, the resurrection food. You want to resurrect the people. Do a 3-day green day. 3 days of green, avocados, limes, kale, chard, echinacea, dandelion tea, 3 days. And what will happen to your life? Your mind will shift into higher gear. Your emotions will become balanced. That's what the green does. It repairs the immune system. So we have the power to make the shift. So do small steps and then keep building and then have a vision. Over a season, you're going to be well seasoned in your wellness. And write down all what you want to attract, and everything you eat is going to get you to that next level.
I love it. I love it. Queen Afua was here. I could testify to that. I would do just all green for 3 or 4 days, and my energy, I would be bouncing off the wall. My mind would be clicking so fast.
Calling me all late at night and early in the morning. I'm like, Queen Afua, Sway needs somebody to talk to when he get on that green juice for 3 days. I'm like, he better not be calling me like this.
Yeah, call up your ancestors, Sway.
Yeah, call Tank up.
Call up Tank. It's different, you know. And Heather said something really interesting, Queen Afua. It's like sometimes we have my sister tells me this all the time. You know, it's gonna grab you sooner or later. You know, you walk in a certain path, but sometimes you ignore some of the callings and you know what's great for you, and you don't always do it. And I know when I'm on all greens, I'm at my greatest.
Yeah.
But I don't know
highest frequency.
Highest frequency, and
it's the highest. That's why we in prison, because our frequency is low. That's what it is. When I read people, I read them with radiance, the pendulum, and it's just showing that I advise them of ether, air, fire, water, earth. So you can shift in a word, you can shift in a tea, you can shift in a food, you can shift through a salad, you can shift immediately. But then what's the next moment? What's the next movement? So if you keep rising and elevating through your foods each day, so if you did well in 24 hours, what is 48 hours? What does 72 hours look like? What does 7 days look like? What is 21 days? What is a season? Every single day, this is a perfect time to begin taking your season journey. And if you do that with the green as your foundation, your sun food, you can't help but become radiant. So the air element, if you have asthma, if you have allergies, if you have hay fever, you need air. Food, you need to eat live food. You need the leeks and you need the scallions. You need the radishes. You need the garlic. That opens up your lungs and that allows you to soar, literally run and soar. I think that's why young people can, stay around me. But it's like most people, they, get older, they just move on. But because I'm actually 25.
Yeah.
Hey.
Absolutely. Queen Afua is here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a few callers, if you don't mind, that have been waiting to speak to you. And then the first caller is actually from the Virgin Islands. But before we go into that, get the book, Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit, available. 2 new chapters. We got Darshanya from the U.S. Virgin Islands on the line. Grand Risings, how are you?
Hey, Darshanya.
Grand Rising. I was actually calling to do the chat. But I'll talk to Queen. I just want to say thank you. I was introduced to Sacred Woman as a teenager, and yes, I'm in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I'm from the Bay. Oh. And growing up as a young teenager in the Bay Area, I went through a lot of trauma, sexual abuse. I grew up in a single home, and really being introduced to Woman Heal Thyself shifted my life in a whole nother kind of way. And I don't really know where I would be had I not been introduced to that book, had I not been introduced to becoming vegetarian, to thinking about myself as a sacred woman. And yes, now I can stand as a testament as someone that's lived homeless, like I said, been through abuse, been through trauma, as a healer, as a comedic yoga instructor for 7 years. I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. I do quantum healing work. I have 4 beautiful children who have never been shot, vaccinated, or in a hospital because I've used all my Sacred Woman tools to heal them when necessary. So the work that she is speaking of is highly beneficial. It has saved my family. It has saved my relationship. There's a section in there for your sacred relationship and how to relate to your sacred man. I mean, this woman, I was so happy when I started seeing Queen Afua just getting more and more, commercial success, and just really happy that our people are deciding to not only wake up but awaken and actually live in their awakened life. So I got to meet you, Queen Afua, in December back in a few years ago, 2017, and I had just went through the hurricanes that went here and tumbled our land, and it was by the grace of the Most High someone gifted me a ticket to see you, and I gave you my book, Fertile. I don't know if you ever read it, but I just want to thank you once again for all that you've done for me and for the millions of people that you have helped. And I wanted to ask you, as a mother and a grandmother now, how can we get our elders on board with supporting the youth?
Well, I actually took this chapter out of just one of my books called Circle of Wellness. It's holistic elders, how to get rid of those elder issues, because the elders are so sick that they can't really connect to you. That's called old age. That's when we live toxic for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we're so in pain, we're suffering. That's how come they cannot connect. So we have to get them out the suffering. So I created a little, 20 pages just for that, for the caretakers, because my mother's 96 years old, and she's only functioning and doing well and walking. She used to work in my laboratory and does the labeling and does the packaging. I said, okay, she has the JOB. My mother is like a miracle, but that's for all of us. So we only disconnect because we're sick. And you can do that. Husband and wife will disconnect if they're sick. If he has high blood pressure and prostate issues, and she has fibroid tumors, and she's stressing, what communication is going to happen? So if our elders get well now, and we help them to get well, because you have to help the elders. You have to run the bath. You got to get the juices to them. You got to make the teas. You got to do the work, and you have to get them in a way that they will feel like they're being forced. It has to be through love. And if you can help an elder, you as a daughter will be lifted up. The elders will lift you up if you help them and serve them. And because one day you will be an elder. And if you take good care like you're doing right now of yourself, then you'll be able to lift up young people. And because they will lift you up, that's the cycle of life when we're whole and natural. And you're going in the right direction. So if you're having an issue with your mother or your father, the best thing you can do is go into the gateway of my eye. Because my eye deals with the heart, and the heart is on a scale. One side is the feather, and the other side is the heart. May your heart every day become as light as a feather. You hold no mouth for your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, because when you let that go, it's all a lesson. Everybody who comes in our lives, they're just teaching us a lesson about who we are. They are an extension of our thoughts, our past, our present, and our future. So it's not even about them and those and the elder, what they don't get. It's what you get. If you get it, you're an elder to somebody right now. You're the elder to your children. You're the elder to other women that you have lifted up in charge to the yoga practice and all the holistic natural work that you do. So you are already an elder. So if you are connected, then other elders will also see you as an example, and they will start to come into the healing so they can connect to the youth and be able to go with change. You know how music goes? You have the music of the 70s, the 60s, the 80s, 90s. You have the music of the ages, right? When you are in rhythm with the universe, you go through all of the ages of music and all of the ages of what we go through. I come out of the 60s. I wasn't supposed to be in this conversation by now, but I buried 9 of my dear friends, and that's because the old age caught them and the heart was broken and it was not able to mend it, and they were healers. So, just mercy on our people and mercy with each other and forgiveness, and we will heal.
There it is, Darshanya. Thank you. You're a citizen, Darshanya. I appreciate
you.
your call.
Wow.
Okay.
Great awakening. Great awakening.
Absolutely. We got T from Seattle who has a question. T, go for it.
What's
Grand
up,
Rising.
T?
Hey, good morning, Grand Rising. Queen Afua, I say. I've been through a traumatic situation, a near-death experience that has really affected me both physically and mentally, but trying to cope and learn how to cope with it has really bled into my relationship. It's brought up traumas from the past that have, really affected us. And, we're really trying to work
What's the trauma?
through...
What's the trauma? What happened? What's the trauma?
My trauma comes from a previous relationship that I didn't know stress could affect my body the way it was. I now live with congestive heart failure and stage 3 kidney disease. And so, and I know those are things that are manageable. I was diagnosed in 2018. I got so sick that my heart was functioning at 16%. I didn't have a squeeze. I didn't have any type of rhythm, no pump in my heart. And the woman that I'm with now has always been by my side. And we've been together 3 years. We have a beautiful 2-year-old. And, life is just taking its toll on us.
What happened in that relationship, previous relationship? Because that is connected to your heart. That's why your heart is
right. There was a lack. There was a huge lack of communication. There was a huge lack of affection. There was a huge lack of just the list could go on, and we were together around 13 years and had 2 great sons out of that. And I believe, just trying to hold on to something that isn't working, but you let your hope and faith kind of stand in the way of that because of your children. Not saying that that's an excuse, but that was an excuse for us, was that we didn't want our children
together, everything that you had. You're trying to keep the family together, everything that you had. One thing, everybody is an extension of either our past, our present, or where we're going. In that relationship, you put yourself in the center, the circle around you of people who've been in your life. And she was one of the ones in your life, and the current is in your life. They all are part of you, and that is where the healing begins. That's where the heart congestion is. I'm going to say the tea, you can take hawthornberry tea, can begin to open up the heart. You can take a glass of green juice, you can do cucumber, watercress, because of the kidneys. You need cucumber, watercress, and parsley. And you just start taking that. Then you, with that your heart valves are clogged up with plaque. Change your diet, the dairy, the white flour products, the late night eating, because there's a valve. We got to clean that out. Take your lime water in the morning. Those are some things you can do physically. In the heart, you need ma'at. Ma'at is not for the women. Ma'at is for a nation. A whole nation was based on that principle. Every day you're going to affirm that my heart is becoming as light as a feather. I want you to get into a bath for the next 7 days. You're going to release that. You'll get a little bit of rose oil just to put that oil, or frankincense and myrrh oil, just a few drops in your water. Take 1 cup of Dead Sea salt and turn off the lights, light a white candle for clear vision. Get into that and let the water merge over your chest. Lean into the water and then massage your chest and say, I love you. I love you unconditionally. I'm restoring you. The power to heal is within me. I'm not holding venom nor stress. I'm not holding pain. I'm not trying to get back at anybody. I've forgiven myself for everything, and everything is my lesson. I want you to keep talking until you lift your spirit up, until you wail, until you cry, until you squeeze out all of that plaque, emotional plaque in those arteries. I want you to sing to yourself. I want you to give praise for the divine that's within you, because that heart is self-love. If you give yourself unconditional self-love, holistically speaking, you will get your heart back. You will get your spiritual heart back. You will get your physical heart back. You will get your vitality back. You will be renewed. And you will then say, thank you for the lesson, because I was able to leave after 13 years. You could have stayed there for your whole life. You could have been buried in that level of the frequency of that relationship. For you to be able to jump into a relationship that is loving, that means you did some growing. that you was able to overcome insurmountable odds. You're not a prisoner of your past. Take every experience as you reflect in your journal. Take every experience as lessons. What lesson did this 13-year relationship bring to you? One of them I know is you have to now have self-care and self-preservation. It's about you transforming, because that relationship that you have with you, starting right now, is going to change that relationship from the past. And it's going to increase the beauty of the present relationship. And your heart is healing right now. And I'm seeing it. Open now. This is open heart surgery. Breathe deep into your heart as if your life depended upon it. And bring life into your soul, into your heart, and forgive yourself and forgive all your relationships, because they're all lessons.
Queen Afua, thank you. T, thank you for sharing,
Wow.
man.
Listen.
You're a citizen, T.
Thank you
You're a
for
citizen.
your heart.
Sway in the morning.
Yep.
T, and I know that Queen gave us a lot of, Queen Afua gave you a lot of information and gave us a lot of lessons. Make sure you go back to SiriusXM.com/on-demand after 2 p.m. Eastern today to hear that back.
That's
All right,
exactly
T.
what I was
Thank you
going
so
to say, HB.
Thank you. And get
Love
the
you.
book.
Thank you so much.
Buy all of her books. She has many of them,
Yes.
but Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit is why we're here today. It's just a catalyst. It's not the sole reason. It's just a catalyst. This was meant to happen. Absolutely. Queen Mother Afua, thank you
Yes.
for just anointing these airwaves, tapping into these frequencies. You radiate when I watch you. So does your son. I see it through technology. Technology can't stop what's natural. When you speak, I'm transfixed. I'm mesmerized, like I'm eating great, nourishing food. I'm energized when you speak. I'm familiar with your work for decades now. And I mentioned it before, and one day we'll cross paths and connect the dots. But I appreciate the work you do. I appreciate my sister Erica Badu for always standing by your side and supporting.
Throughout the years, over 20-some years. I was there when before everyone knew. I didn't know who she was when she came to spend the night at my house, and I put my mother's pajamas on her and lit a candle. She was another young little girl who was finding her way. But she's been with me all these years. I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lauren London, all the folks that you've touched their lives.
Yeah, man.
And you touched ours, too. So looking forward to doing more. Hopefully we could get you back on the show sometime in the future. Would you be open to that?
I would absolutely be open to that. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Congratulations. Enjoy your day. And
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Can I tell them how to get to my website? Can they come to my website? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you. But my website is www.queenafua.com. I have a school, and I want you to come and register for Man Heal Thyself, Sacred Woman, Womb Wellness, Womb Yoga Dance, 21-Day Detox. That's it.
There it is. You have a brilliant day. Thank you, Queen.
Yes.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for the support.
Absolutely.
Yes, God bless you.
Wow, I hate to even get off the phone with her. Jeez.
Man, and I got to get off the phone with y'all. I love y'all. Got me over here playing. I'm about to miss my other show. I love y'all. Love you, Sway, Tracy G, Citizens. I'm at the Happy Hour, WHB. Love y'all.